Episode 4 of Talk to Tommy already. I missed last week. It was the holidays. Last week was crazy for me. I'm sure it was crazy for all of you as well. And now we find ourselves in this weird kind of vortex world the few days between Christmas and New Year's. Uh, Kind of a funny time of year, right? There's memes about it. There's gifs about it. This is that weird, like, what do I do with myself era that we're in. But today, on this fine Saturday, as I record this, I'm going to be getting into a little bit of work. I had a few days off for Christmas. We're going to get into all that fun stuff here today. I'm going to tell you all about my trip to Montana. I just got back from Red Lodge, Montana, which is a magical little town in Montana. This is my first time in Montana altogether. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and that'll lead into what I'm about to do for the rest of my day here. Now that I'm back in Cranston, Rhode Island, my hometown, where all is safe, although we did get a few inches of snow last night. Did you get any snow where you're from? Was it snowing last night by any chance? We kind of got hit with some out of nowhere. But yeah, here we are, the last few days of 2025, if you can imagine that. And this is where we're going to kind of try and put another score in the end zone before the clock runs out. First off, let me tell you what I've got going on in Montana and what I was doing out there. If you didn't listen to the last show, watch the last show, I have a script that I'm working on with Theo Rossi called Renew. And we had this script pretty much ready to go a couple years ago, and we were going to film it at a resort in Puerto Rico. Very beautiful, warm location, tropical even maybe. On the beach, coastal. And then, projects come and go, things go up, they go down, they get shelved. That project didn't end up happening. And here we are years later. We have another producer interested in that same story. The only catch is, instead of shooting at a resort in Puerto Rico, they want to shoot at a mountain lodge in Montana. So, becomes a little bit of a fun creative game there where let's take the story that we had. The essence of the story will not change. But how do we wrap this up in a bow and convert the location? And it's not just the location, because think about it, geographically, people are different in different locations. So, how we wrote the locals in that version of the script to be at a beach resort is going to be a little different than the characters that we're writing at a mountain lodge. So sadly, it's not as simple as just changing all the slug lines and changing the headings and, okay, well, instead of it, them being in bathing suits, they're in ski gear now. It's not that simple. There's a domino effect that carries out through the whole entire script. So, it's a little bit of a rewrite job, but it's exciting because Montana is just gorgeous. There's a few things that I really love. I'm not a huge nature guy. I mean, I'd love to spend more time in nature. I wish I was more of a camper. I wish I was more of a hiker. I wish I was, frankly, more of an outdoorsman altogether. But I'm really not. But I do love it. And one thing about Montana that's really cool is they call it big sky country. And I love me some big skies. I'm talking like something about, I don't know, I'm not a meteorologist, so I don't know how the cloud coverages form. But there's something about Montana. The skies are just gorgeous. You get these amazing clouds, crazy sunsets, crazy sunrises. I actually woke up early just to get out there and kind of explore the land a little bit and watch the sun come up, and kind of breathtaking stuff to witness. So there's no question that, filming this movie in Montana is going to give us an aesthetic that I never dreamed of. I'm sure Theo never imagined that when we started writing the script a couple years back. So again, just kind of another little, I shared that story with y'all because it's kind of just another fun story about the unpredictable nature of making movies, filmmaking, screenwriting, and how you got to be flexible because you might have had your heart set on a beach resort in Puerto Rico, and someone might come along and say, hey, that's all well and good, but if you actually want to get this made, we're going to have to change that to a mountain lodge in Montana. So you got to be flexible as as a writer, as a creative, and just be ready to adapt to whatever is going to work to get your movie made. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get our movies made because that's how you get your stories told. That's how you get the old check, right? At the end of the day, we're doing this for money, right? This is a job. I mean, sure, it's a passion, but it's also a job. So when you get your movie made, you get paid and you do your thing. And usually, in my experience, and it's crazy, it's going to be New Year's Eve next week. The years just peel by. I've been doing this for, feels like 20 years, about, a little less than 20 years now. And in that time, I got to tell you, nothing builds momentum for your next project like the current project you're on now. Let's break that down. What do you mean by that? A guy once told me, who I got involved in filmmaking, that you're never as hot as you are as when you're in production. That's when everyone's looking at you. That's when you got all the attention. That's when you're posting your posts and your social media is reflecting a positive energy that people can get behind. That's when people say, who is that person? I want to get involved with them. That's a positive energy that I can get behind. People that, potential investors, financiers, money people, they see you active in doing things. They want to get involved. Or you could just, have some cheap AI company produce a crappy poster for you, and you could post it on your socials and say, coming soon, and it will never happen. I see a lot of that. And you see a lot of people make a poster. Guys, nobody's paying money to go see a poster. You got to make a movie. And it's going to take a lot more than a good poster to get financing for your movie. So that's my advice. Get in production, get something made. And again, you might be thinking, well, what if I don't have a financier that's going to raise $1 million or whatever? Well, make something. Make a short film. Make a really cool YouTube video. Produce, create something. Because as you're making things and creating, building, working, people pay attention to that. So again, that's my my quote of the day. You're never as hot as you are as when you're in production. That's when people pay attention. So we're going to be moving into production really soon. I've got a really interesting month ahead. I'm making a feature film in we'll call it early winter. I guess it's midwinter. Maybe it's late winter. I don't know. The bottom line is we're making a movie this winter. We're going to be prepping away all January. And I'm excited, man. Like I said, we got some snow last night. To me, nothing's more motivating than okay, well, we're hunkered down. It's snowing out. We got no place good to go. Let's just focus on getting our work done and prepping this movie. But there's a lot of exciting events coming up. I want to tell you a little bit about my Montana experience. Long travels, man. I don't want to make this all about negative travel, but I had the longest day in an airport ever in my life coming home. It was crazy, man. I mean, I got up at 1:30 in the morning, left the lodge that we were staying at 2 a.m., got to the airport around 3:30. By the time I'm in security, it's 4 a.m., and my flight's not leaving until 6 or 6:30. 6:30 flight, I went from Montana to Arizona, and then here's the kick in the gut, ready? 4-hour layover in Arizona, which, nothing against the Phoenix, Arizona airport, but it's maybe like a little older airport, maybe a little dated, and they just don't have all the amenities the newer airports have. You know, like the new airports have like, okay, if you're not waiting at your gate, sometimes they'll have like nice desks sort of where they have like the charging stations and things like that. Arizona's kind of slim pickings. It's either like you're going to be hanging out at a restaurant or you're going to be hanging out at a gate. There's really no in between. And the thing about the gate is, you know how it is when you're flying. If you're there too early, there's no worse feeling. Well, I'm sure there's worse feelings, but one of the worst feelings at an airport is when you get to your gate and you've got so much time to wait on your layover that your destination's not even posted on the gate yet. There's still like another couple flights that are gonna come and go before your shit's even on the board. Uh, that's a little that'll kill your spirit a little bit when you're waiting around. But I made use of the time. I got some work done. Waited 4 hours, got on the plane, flew 3 hours to Chicago, and then it wasn't so bad from there. You know, once you're in Chicago, it's only a couple hours on the plane home, and luckily that layover was only about an hour. And by the time you walk to your gate, it's pretty much an hour anyway. Got on the plane, got home by 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my morning started at 2 a.m. Mountain, well, 1:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and I got home 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a long day, man, but all worth it, right? All in the name of a good story, a good adventure. I had a blast in Montana. Shout out to our producer Diana, who took really great care of us out there. Shout out to um, really all the people at the ranch. You know, Christy, woman who ran the ranch, was just really awesome, and Braden was also really cool to work with. Diana's assistant. Met some cool people. Everyone was really sweet, really nice. But it went by quick. You know, it was a quick one of those kind of like whirlwind trips where like you're really only staying there a couple nights, and you're spending almost more time traveling than you are at the actual place. But Theo and I hunkered down. We got a bunch of work done, cranked on the script, and now that leads me to where I'm at right now, where in about 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to get a call from Theo. We're going to hop on, and we're going to finish this script. We didn't quite finish over there. We got pretty close, but now we got to do some cleanup work on it and get it out to the world. You know what I mean? Make a little something happen. So yeah, that's pretty much my plan for the end of 2025. If by the end of 2025, I can finish this story, get this script ready so that my producer can have it and get it out into the world and start to do all the things that you need to do, like budgeting, scheduling, casting. That's all going to get done really soon. So this script is our goal is to basically have a draft ready by Wednesday, which is New Year's Eve, which means, for you writers out there, you know how this goes. You can't just write the thing and send it in. You got to spend a whole painstaking process of reading it and making sure that, the spelling's right, the formatting's right. There are no what we call cobwebs from the old draft. That'll happen sometimes when you're working on a script. There'll be like a character from an old draft that's not even in the script anymore, and you got their name in an action line somewhere laying around. It's like, wait, who's Jimmy? So shout out to Stephen E. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I missed you. How's your holiday season treating you? Hope you had a great Christmas, and I'm wishing you a happy New Year. Although, hey, we still got some time on the clock in 2025. Let's not pack it in just yet. Wait a couple. This is our last weekend of 2025. Can you believe it? It's something. I'll tell you. It sounds cliche to say, but the older you get, the faster the years fly by. Isn't that right? All right, as we wrap this little quick impromptu Talk to Tommy session, I do want to talk about Stranger Things. My good buddy, every year, my friend Jonathan Granoff, shout out to Jonathan. He's from New York. Well, he lives in New York, but he grew up right down the street with me, and we've been the best of pals since we were literally 7 years old. So every Christmas, my good buddy Jonathan comes over, and it's very much a tradition. We'll have a little watch party, whether it's whatever the good movies coming out, whatever good shows coming out. I remember Jonathan was the one who put me on to Mandalorian when that came out years ago. We always find like a Christmas show to kind of binge, and we catch up and we watch. And we sat on the couch for 4 hours watching stuff last night. And this year, it kind of worked out well with Stranger Things. It was our time to it was perfect. He hadn't seen the new ones that just came out. I hadn't seen the new ones that just came out. So we said, perfect. We got a little sushi, and we settled into Stranger Things. And I gotta say, man, listen, everything the Duffer Brothers do is it's a remarkable show. It's amazing what they've done to stand the test of time for all you have a show running almost 10 years. People have this crazy anticipation, crazy love for it, the merchandise. It's really become a part of our pop culture, Stranger Things. It's bigger than I bet you anyone could have ever possibly conceived. And I don't know, man. I mean, I watched the most recent ones, the last 3 episodes, right before the series finale, and I find myself just being like, man, this is getting too big. I feel like the show has kind of jumped the shark a little bit, and I know it's tough because it's like you always got to outdo yourself, and I can't even imagine what it's like to have a show that's that popular. But again, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I like the show, and I can't wait to watch the final episode next week. I'm a fan. But I do think that the show altogether has gotten away from what it once was back in season 1 and season 2. It was this kind of contained, nuanced show set in a wonderful time period that a lot of people my age, kind of sings to them. If you grew up in the 80s, it was this really nice, sweet, contained thing with this wonderful cast. And now it's kind of just exploded into this massive Lord of the Rings proportion, epic 20-person ensemble cast. And as much as, again, the entertainment factor is off the charts, I'm loving it, I'm into it. But I just feel like these last few episodes have maybe been a lot of sizzle and not a lot of steak. And I wonder if the plot has been kind of lost a little bit. And I wonder sometimes while watching, it's like, does anyone really know, like, is this really the direction we wanted to go in back in episode 1 all those years ago when you just had a bunch of scrappy little outsider kids banding together to kind of go on this adventure. And now it's just, I don't know, it's gotten so massive. I think that, like anything in life, like the Roman Empire, like the Holy Roman Empire, when you get too big, your borders thin out and your strength diminishes. And I think that, again, the show just got so big that it didn't know what to do with itself. Now, again, I'm not hating on it. Please don't take this the wrong way. I love the show, and I can't wait to watch it, close out next week. But I don't know. It's just sometimes less is more, and I think that the show was cooler when it was just a little bit smaller. And also, and again, you hate to talk about what's realistic and what's not realistic when you're dealing with sci-fi and, kind of heightened action type movies and adventure and things like that. But there was something about the simplicity of the story in the earlier seasons that made me as a viewer feel like, hey, you know what? This is weird, but I've seen stranger things. Get what I'm doing there? Weirder things have happened. It's not crazy to think that there are these government experiments happening right under our noses in these, small little towns. I think that's all great. That's what made the show special. it was grounded in reality. And now they're asking audiences to do a lot of leaps into fantastical worlds and dimensions. And sometimes it's like, is this a Rick and Morty episode? Or is this a really great sci-fi show that was built on nostalgia? Uh, so that's my 2 cents on Stranger Things. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, I would love to hear just like what everyone thinks. Drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the newest season of Stranger Things. That's season 5. And maybe we'll do a whole episode where we just kind of book club and talk about it. Again, it's just, maybe it's because there's so many years between the seasons. It's easy to kind of like lose touch of like what's going on. Maybe it's on me. Maybe I need to watch, seasons 1 through 4 again and then rewatch season 5. Maybe I lost the plot. I don't know. It just seems like this thing has gotten bigger and gone in a direction that none of us really expected in season 1. And I don't know that any of us really wanted it to go that way in season 1. But drop your comments down because I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. I couldn't help but, you always do this, right? You go on social media, you start scrolling. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are too thrilled with it. I'm seeing a lot of disappointment for the last couple episodes, to the point where, I think it was maybe a miss across in the court of public opinion. I don't think it was a home run. In any case, on a positive note, I'm going to start to get ready to do some writing with Theo. I've got some, exciting stuff coming up next week. Mike Braga is back in town. Mike Braga is, my longtime assistant, and he's worked on many projects with me. He's produced many of, in the last couple of years, done a lot of producing with me. Talented cat. He's coming by next week on Monday. We're going to work on a couple little projects. Now that he moved to Florida, we don't get as much time to work together, so that'll be a fun day. And you know how it is, man. I mean, we're going to blink, and it's going to be New Year's Eve. So everyone have a very safe and chill New Year's Eve next week. I don't know about you, but I have long grown out of the whole going out on New Year's thing. I'm done with that. I am going to be, you know what I'm doing New Year's Eve? I'll tell you my New Year's Eve plans. I got a few friends coming over. And when I say a few, I literally mean like 2 or 3 people. We're going to order some food. And we're going to put Stranger Things, the series finale on. And we're going to strap in and battle, battle these creatures from the upside down. I bet you I'm not alone in that. I bet you a lot of people are going to be, that's going to be their New Year's Eve plan. So I will say this to the Duffer Brothers. Ready? Here's my quote. The Duffer Brothers will literally save lives this year. And you're going to say, what do you mean by that? How the Duffer Brothers going to save lives this year? I guarantee you, and this is some weird trippy shit to even think about, but I guarantee you there's a situation out there in some kind of, you want to talk about wormholes and space-time continuums. There's probably a person who was going to go out, party, get shitty, and who knows, maybe get into some kind of a horrible situation on the road or God knows what. But because of Stranger Things, they're probably going to have a safer alternative to their New Year's and say, you know what? This year, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to put myself in danger on the roads with all these amateurs drinking and driving. I'm going to stay home and watch Stranger Things with my friends instead. I bet you someone's life will be saved by that this year. And they'll never know it, right? We'll never know these things. But the Duffer Brothers are going to save lives this year by keeping people off the streets on New Year's Eve, a safe, chill night. Order some food, throw the Netflix on, watch the show, have some fun. That's what I'm going to be doing. But right now, I'm going to jump on with Theo. We're going to do some writing, and hopefully I can salvage a little time we got an NFL game today. There's a couple NFL games on today. So Really good game, Houston Texans versus the LA Chargers. That's going to be a little bit of an AFC heavyweight fight right there. You got two teams battling it out, jockeying for playoff position. Both teams are most likely, going to put up a hell of a fight. So I'm looking forward to that game. I don't have a dog in the hunt. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm just looking forward to a good old-fashioned football game. So hopefully, when you're working on stuff, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I always have to have something in the future to look forward to so that I can say, all right, it's going to be tough. I got to get through a little bit of work. But when this is done, around 4:30 in the afternoon, those teams are going to kick off, and I'm going to be right there parked on the couch watching it, and all will be well. So that's what I got to say today. I'm finding something to look forward to so that I can get through my work on this snowy Saturday here in Cranston. It's always fun just kind of talking into the abyss. Stephen E., great to see you again, brother. Happy New Year. And thank you for being on here so we could chat a little bit. I say this every week. If you ever have any comments, any questions, you want to know something about making movies, you want to learn something about acting, you want to learn something about writing, or just get my opinion on any random old thing, whether it's a movie, sports, collectibles, it doesn't matter. The name of the show is Talk to Tommy. So you get to talk to me about anything you want. So fire it out in the comments. It doesn't have to be live. I'm always checking these comments. So drop it down and I'll catch you on the next one. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel, turn the notifications bell on, and be on the lookout. I've been posting a lot of shorts lately. So if you heard about my Montana trip, you think it's cool, you want to check it out, you want to see what Montana's looking like, I posted a bunch of shorts on there from Montana. Go on, take a look. Like them if you like it. Like them if you don't like it. Like it because it's the holiday season. It's time for giving. All right, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you real soon.